If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, we have Cody Brundage back on the show. He returns to action next Saturday in the co-main event of Lights Out Championship 7. He's going to take on Erick Lozano for the 195-pound championship. This fight came together very quickly, and we're happy to have Cody back on the show. Cody, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. Just getting ready, Same old, same old.
So this thing came together. I think you announced it on Facebook last week, right?
Yeah, I just figured out about it last week. Matt hit me up. Because originally Erick was going to fight Melvin Guillard, UFC vet. Melvin's kind of got some personal issues he's working through, so that fight got scrapped, and Matt hit me up immediately. He was like, hey, Melvin's probably going to be off the card. And, he didn't say, will you step in and fight, but, I knew where it was headed. So I was like, hey, if you need somebody, I'm always ready to fight. I know Erick, right after we fought, he was like, I want the rematch. So it worked out,
So you guys fought for the middleweight title in December, and admittedly, I didn't watch the fight, but I saw clips all over social media. It looked like a brutal war between the two of you guys, but you were able to come out with a unanimous decision victory. Talk about that fight, what you took away from it, and was it the war that it seemed to look like on social media?
So it actually wasn't the war it seemed to look. He actually cut me with a flying knee in the 5th round, and then I immediately took him down. But other than that knee to the head, it was 24 minutes and 50 seconds of me dominating him with grappling, which I think when we talked, I kind of told you that's what I thought would happen. I didn't think he was at the level I was with grappling, and it proved to be correct. I kind of caught a lot of flack about it because everyone wants to just bleed, go out there, stand in the middle, and give each other brain damage. Like, that's what people think MMA is, the more casual fan. So I kind of got a little flack for it, but that was my game plan. I told everyone else what I was going to do, and that's what happened. So, yeah, it did look like a crazy fight. I got cut, and so there was blood everywhere. And if you caught the highlights, it was like, dang, that was a really close fight. But if you watched the 25 minutes, it was like, wow, it wasn't even a contest, really. So
the fight went pretty much the way you thought it would. Were you overall satisfied with the performance?
Not really. I mean, I was happy to get the experience. 25 minutes is good, but I've finished every fight in my career other than that one. So that was kind of motivation for me to take the rematch. Like I said, I took a little flack. They're like, oh, you're a wrestler. You just wrestled him. I'm like, of course. I've wrestled 19 years of my life. That's what I'm going to do. But, I wanted to be a little more active with my ground and pound. I wanted to be a little more active searching for submissions. And I kind of got into a state where me and my coach just talked about it afterwards. But it was more of like, I'm not trying to win. I'm just trying not to lose. And it worked out because, I did enough to win the fight. But that's not really how I fight. I gave him a lot of credit, too, going in that I don't think he necessarily deserved looking back on. He's definitely solid. He's tough. He hits hard. But I, built him up in my head of, he's got 30 fights, and he's on a 6-fight win streak instead of just going out there and doing my thing, So I'm excited to get back in there and kind of get a little redemption.
Redemption on a win. You don't really hear that too often, especially a dominant win like that when you're ahead for 24 minutes and 50 seconds and, outside of a flying knee. What else did you take away? I mean, getting in there for 25 minutes, not easy. You're going to do it again in pretty short notice here. Having that experience, those extra 10 minutes in there, and you haven't had a fight that's gone that long anyways, but just being able to grind it out and experience, the championship rounds, what was that like for you?
Oh, it was great. It's probably the biggest thing I need in my career right now. My skills are there to compete at the highest level. I train with guys at the highest level, and I know where I'm at skills-wise. But experience is a huge factor, and that was one thing going in this fight. He had way more experience than me. Still does, but he had a ton. I'd never gone the distance in a fight before, And so I didn't really realize how important that was until after fighting him, because the reason he was able to survive and last that whole 25 minutes was solely based off experience. Like I said, I think we talked, and I was like, he's not going to get flustered by the time. He didn't. It's smart. He avoided the big shots, avoided damage, and he was able to last 25 minutes. But I tripled my cage time just in that one fight. All my fights combined to that point were around 15 minutes total. So in my 3 fights previous, it was 15 minutes, and one of those was 12 minutes. So I've been in the cage 2 other times that were less than a round of cage time. So it was good. That's what I need. I need rounds. I need to kind of face a little adversity. I got cut. I had to go to the 5th round, go to a decision, see what you're made of. And we always talk about like my wife was in the UFC and she was even like, I've never gone 5 rounds. I've never had to do a 25-minute fight. So just having that experience and like knowing, okay, I can do it. And I wasn't, my gas tank was there, and it gives you confidence. I feel good about it.
Were you surprised you were as fresh as you were in the 4th and 5th rounds? I mean, it was a fight where you were in control, you're grappling and you're wrestling, and that's not easy to do. People may poo-poo that and think it's boring, but it's a lot of work to have that sort of performance and to have that sort of dominance. Were you surprised that your gas tank was as good as it was?
I think not really. I mean, I was happy with it, but I work really hard, and I think wrestling, I've been doing it so long that cardio's there. I've built that foundation, that cardio for the last almost 20 years of my life. So I have that in my back pocket. I always say that like my pride for wrestling is so much higher than my pride for MMA, just in terms of like, if I'm wrestling somebody, I could be dead tired. I could want to quit, but I'm not letting you take me down just to get out of there. Sometimes we'll do drills at the gym. It's like, all right, when you get taken down, you're out. And I'll stay in for an hour because I'm like, I'm not letting you take me down. I don't care how tired I am. I'm not going to give you one. Whereas in MMA, I'm like, well, I'm pretty new. People might think it's all right if I just get out of here, like eating or training. But so I knew I could fall back on my wrestling. I knew he didn't have the level to stop me whenever I wanted to do it, no matter how tired I was. So I think that helped with the cardio. If he had stuck 7, 8 takedowns and I'm dying, trying to get another one, that's when it comes into like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. This style of fight isn't working. Then the doubts come in, and then the cardio starts to be an issue. But luckily that didn't happen.
I want to ask you about this, being a mostly wrestling centric guy, but obviously you have some striking as well, and some very good striking. You've finished all of these fights, but do you subscribe to the theory that there should be no stand-ups in MMA? Like sometimes we see stand-ups in these like crazy positions. Like you see a fighter take somebody's back, and it's a really dominant position, but the referee says, "Nah, we're gonna stand them up because the fans are booing." But Joe Rogan says, like, listen, if you don't want to be on your back, get up, find a way up. Like, do you subscribe to that theory, or do you think there should be stand-ups?
I definitely see, like, I don't know. Like, yeah, there should be stand-ups because people, you can game the system. The thing, he kept saying that after the fight, well, it should have been stood up. And I agree. Like, if you're in guard, you're sitting in guard, not doing anything, maybe you should stand it up. It's such a weird thing because Ultimate Fighting Championship, MMA, those things are supposed to be like real life scenarios, right? You're supposed to be simulating basically the closest thing to a street fight that you can get. That's why they have very little rules. They don't really wear 4-ounce gloves. You can pretty much do anything to another person. Then they're like, well, you're not really good at getting back to your feet, so we'll just start you over. Like that would never happen in the real world, which is what, kind of started out as. What's the most dominant style of fighting? Not what's the most dominant style of fighting if you're not working hard enough to stand you on your feet so this person can have a better opportunity. But I do think in the guard, maybe you should. But like I said, my fight, I was in mount or on his back the whole fight. And so I think if you're in a dominant position, to stand it up is pretty ludicrous. I don't subscribe to the idea that it should be stood up. If I'm in mount, if I'm in side control, if I'm on your back, there's no way it should ever be stood up, regardless of what's going on, really. Because I'm in the controlling position, But yeah, I've seen crazy things like when Usman fought Damian Maia, and Damian Maia, one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in the world, probably has the best back, like taking someone's back and putting them out game in the sport. He's on Usman's back and they stand him up. It's crazy. And just mentally for that, like you work hard to get this position. They're like, well, fans don't really want to see this. This is boring. Let's get back to our feet. It's almost like you're stealing, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's crazy, man. I know that you felt like the fans and stuff gave you a bunch of flack for the performance and everything like that. And I mean, it was a dominant win, so you got to be happy with that. And I know you want to put sort of an exclamation point on it and get a finish and really leave no doubts. But was there a part of you that's like, ugh, again? Like, I just fought this guy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. That was my first reaction. But, Matt's done a lot of good things for me. He gave me the opportunity. And you know what? Because after that fight, I went back and was like, all right, what do I got to do to get to the UFC? How do I get to the UFC? I got to get my ground and pound, right? If I'm on top of somebody for 24 minutes, I should be able to finish the fight. So let's work on my ground and pound. Let's work on my submissions. And so that's all I've worked. So basically, without even knowing it, I was getting ready to fight Erick again and just do it better this time. So I felt good about it. But yeah, there is definitely that, I got to rematch him right again. They're going to all say, it'll be different this time. It'll be different this time. And you got to listen to that build up all to the fight. It's like, You know, sometimes I just wish you could take all that out of it and just step in the cage and compete and do your thing. But that'll never be the case. So I get used to it.
Do you expect him to approach the fight a little differently after spending 25 minutes in the cage with you before? Do you expect him to be a little more aggressive? Maybe his takedown defense got a little bit better. I mean, it's short notice for you, but it's short notice for him. He's prepared to fight Melvin Guillard, who's probably going to stand there and throw bombs with him for the entire fight. And now he's got you, who he just spent 24 minutes on his back again. So, you know, how do you think he approaches things this time around?
I know he's been bringing in wrestlers, but for like the last 2 weeks, but like I said, I've been doing it 20 years of my life. You're not going to make up 20 years in 2 weeks. And there's not many wrestlers in the state that are my level. So even training with these guys that you're training with, they're just not on my level. So like I said before, like you get a false confidence. Oh, I'm beating these guys. Well, it's not like the same, you know? And Erick can say what he wants about, well, he just wants to wrestle me. He was scared to strike with me. Like, there was a reason he was super tentative on his feet. You know, in the first round, I went back and watched that fight. Maybe it was like, maybe I didn't do anything on the feet. Maybe, you know, you start believing people say, maybe I didn't do anything. Maybe I was scared to do something. So I'll go back and watch it. And in the first round, he didn't throw a single strike. He threw 0 strikes on the feet in the first round. If you're a knockout artist and you know I'm going to come take you down and your only way to win is to knock me out, wouldn't you think, like, I'm going to come forward and knock him out? Even if I get taken out, I'm going to attempt to knock somebody out. But you can't do that throwing 0 strikes. So he knows if he comes too crazy, he can get clipped. He can get knocked out. He knows that. Whether he wants to admit it or not, whether he wants to say, I have no striking, I'm scared to strike, that's fine. But we both know that he's not going to come running into anything, because if he does, he could get put out. Just like I'm not going to go run into anything because I might get put out. There's still a respect there on the feet. He won't say it because then there's this whole narrative of he's scared to strike. That's why he wrestles. No, I'm just better at wrestling than you. Much better at wrestling than you. So that's what I'm going to do. You know, like I told me and my mom were laughing. She's like, you know, don't let him rile you up. She's like, don't let him rile you up and make you go out there and fight his fight. You do what you want to do. I'm like, I know, Mom. Like, I know he's just trying to talk, try to stand with him. And I tell her, I said, it's like if someone came up to me on the street, or someone came up to you on the street and they said, I'll give you $500 right now. You don't have to do anything for it. I'm just going to give you $500. Or I'll give you the same $500. You got to work 10 hours and you'll get no change. Nothing changes. You just get the same amount of money, 10 hours of work or no work. Which one are you going to do? You're going to take the money for free. And that's what I did last fight. I could have stood with him, and I could have beat him, and I could have won the belt. But the easiest path to victory, wrestling. And it worked out. Exactly how I thought it would.
So how does it go down this time around?
I'm going to do the exact same thing. What do they say? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Yeah, I don't need to change anything. I dominated him last time. He's not going to make it up in 2 weeks. I'm going to be more active on top, trying to get the finish. But other than that, like, nothing needs to change. I did enough to win it last time. He keeps saying, well, you know, it was just crazy, man, after the fight, just some of the stuff that was said. I hate when people are like, I got so much respect after the fight, right? Like, mutual respect. I got respect. And then they go on rants about how, well, the refs gave him it, or it was this. Like, that's not respect, right? Like, if you had respect, you'd just be like, well, I lost, I want a rematch, so I think I'll do better next time. But he didn't do that. He's like, well, the refs gave it to him. If we have a different ref, that won't happen, and this and that. So, you know, we'll have a different ref, and he's like, well, he'll stand it up. Well, guess what happens? Like, every time it gets stood up, I'm just going to take you right back down. I'll take you down 100 times in that fight if I have to. Like, and you won't be able to stop it. So, you know, I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to get in there. I don't have bad blood towards Erick. There's definitely a healthy rivalry, though. You know, I want to prove I'm better than him again. I already did it once. I want to prove it again. And I kind of want to shut some people's mouths who thought it was a fluke, I guess. I don't know. You know, if I lucky knocked him out or I did something crazy, that's a fluke. But a 25-minute domination, that's not a fluke. So it's good. I'm excited. Get another belt in the process. My manager wants me to get another win before they start casting Contender, so it works out.
Yeah, it's a great card too. You got Hale and Cross at the top. That's a really good fight at 55. I like that one a lot.
Come out and train. We started doing a little cross training together, which has been awesome. And Mondo, my boy Mondo's on that card too. So yeah, it'd be fun. We all get to get some work in together.
Your team had a good night. Was it last night? I know it was sometime this week.
Yeah, last night, WXC, they got those Wednesday night live fights on Fight Pass. We went 5-0 with 5 finishes, so can't beat that.
Absolutely. Set the table for you real nice for next Saturday.
My boy. That's my boy. He knocked the dude out, second round, moved to 7-1. So then that just, you know, gets the ball rolling for me.
How's Amanda doing, and when are we expecting her to come back? I know she signed with Invicta. She was hoping to make her debut at the end of last year, but life happens and that's the way that it is. Any talks right now?
Yeah, she's doing good. I mean, we're always keeping our eyes open. She's great, man. I can't even really explain to fighting. That's a big part of our lives, and she's really put her career on the back burner kind of for me. And I know that. And so that means the world to me that she's done that. And we still look, we're looking for fights for her. She still trains every day, stays active, but, she's really putting a lot of time and effort into focusing on me. I'm very lucky.
So this is it. You're going to go in there, finish this guy, and then we're going to see you on the Contender Series. That's the plan, right?
Finish this guy, Contender Series, finish whoever that guy is, get on UFC. We'll keep our conversations going all the way to the...
Cody Brundage takes on Erick Lozano next Saturday, Lights Out Championship 7 in Grand Rapids, Michigan for the 195-pound title. I like to see these extra weight classes. I know, not the most ideal situation. You wanted at 205. We're going to cut a little bit of weight, but still, at the end of the day, we're seeing more weight classes. Hopefully, some of these other promotions can do that as well. But we look forward to seeing this fight and seeing how it all plays out for you, Cody. You got a very bright future, as everybody knows. Before I let you go, let the folks know where they can find and follow you on the web, social media, shout-outs, anything else you want to get off your chest. The floor is yours.
My name, Cody Brundage, MMA Fighters, my fighter page. Cody_Brundage_ is my Instagram. Shout out Champion Choice Nutrition. They've been working with me, getting me down to 95. They got me down to 85, so 95 won't be too bad. Motor City Collision. They've been with me for my last few fights. Go Cleveland Productions with Will Finn over in Ohio. He's been with me since the amateur days. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. I'll talk to you after.